Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets podcast. I am joined with my partner in crime, my co-host as always, Dylan over at NetPress. Dylan, we are just one sleep away from the Brooklyn Nets preseason opener where they play Jerusalem. They got to win this one, right? They can't lose to Jerusalem, can they?
Honestly, I don't know, man. You got Drake Powell who's out. You got what's his name, Yegor that's going to be out. So it'll be interesting to see how our G League team looks against a foreign nation. But yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I don't think it's going to be a game where we blow them out completely, but it'll be interesting to see how Cam Thomas
It
looks.
better be, unless they're only going half speed. I mean, they're playing Jerusalem.
I mean, the Pelicans only beat Melbourne, Australia by 10 today. So these
All
international
right.
teams, they come to play.
Is Melbourne, Australia as good as who's better, Jerusalem or Melbourne,
I mean,
Australia?
I would assume that Melbourne's a little bit
I
better
would think
because
so
in
too, but I don't
terms of
know.
league,
Yeah.
it's usually the Euro League, then Australia, and then anywhere else. Um, so I would assume Melbourne's probably better than the Israeli team, but who knows?
All right, guys, let's get into this. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Dylan, first order is Drake Powell out, not playing. Is this
Mhm.
a concern? He didn't play in the summer league. They said it was no big deal. They said it was an abundance of caution. We're several months later, 4 months later, he's still not playing. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm not going to take too much of a worry to it. I think that it is smart to kind of allow him to recover as fast as possible. And take his time with it. So I don't think that I'm too concerned with his health. I know that as of right now, they are considering him healthy. It's more so precautionary to make sure that he's 110%. But I got to speak with CJ not too long ago about it, and he said that he's looking fine. So there's been a couple of people at training camp as well who I've spoken to who said he looks good, he looks healthy. Um, there was one person that I had spoke to that went to practice in the park and said that he looked healthy. So I think it's more of a precautionary to make sure that he's 110% before throwing him out there and giving him a workload.
Look, and I have no issue with that. It's the preseason. Here's my thought though on Drake Powell. He didn't play a ton in college. He only was there one season. He didn't play a ton of minutes. He hasn't played much
Hmm.
basketball. So, I mean, are we going to send him to Long Island to get some game experience? Because I thought the preseason would be a good time for him to play a lot of minutes, and now they're saying he's not playing, or at least this game. I
Yeah.
don't know if he'll play in the others that hasn't been formally announced or not. But I mean, isn't Drake Powell specifically? He hasn't played a ton of basketball. I don't want this to turn into Dariq Whitehead. We'll get to in a minute, where he just hasn't played basketball. Is this an issue? Like him not really having played much basketball in his life?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's definitely going to be a raw prospect that we're going to have to give some time to. Like this isn't a guy that you should be expecting to make an immediate impact with 25 plus minutes a night. He's raw. He needs to be developed. And like you said, he had a minimal amount of experience in college because of the situation that he was in at UNC. The last time that he really played at a high level that you can really consider in terms of an all-around game was in high school. So this is somebody who's going to need a lot of development. It's kind of similar to Portland's Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp was drafted, had a very minimal role in Portland for his first couple of seasons last year. Really got to expand on that role, put up a couple of career highs in certain categories, and they're expecting another leap from him this year, heading into, I believe it's year 4 or 5 for him now. I think you can kind of see something similar with Powell. Do I think that he's ever going to be a 20 plus point per game scorer? No. But could he be the best defender on this team in 4 years from now? 100%. And I think that if he's a guy that can kind of transition into that Herb Jones, like an in between of Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, where he has the defensive ability of both and just a lesser offensive version of Murphy, then I think that this could be a really good player for Brooklyn long term.
I'm with you. So I'm not trying to rush him out there or do anything stupid. I'm not trying to, I just a lot of the things that you're saying, like Whitehead just needed minutes. He's a raw prospect. He'll be good. And then here we are with Whitehead. So the first order of business here is Dariq Whitehead going to make the roster?
I think so. I mean, you don't get rid of a guy who's on a guaranteed deal. It's just it doesn't really make sense unless if you're going to trade him as a salary dump. But at the same time, the Nets aren't really in a position to be a team of dumping salary. So to me, I think that he 100% makes the roster. I think at this point in time, based on some of the things that we're hearing, I think Tyrese Martin's the only one that stays out of those two-way guys, the two-way and team option guys that we have. I think Jalen Wilson and Drew Timme are going to be the two that ultimately get cut to fill those last two roster spots. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that, like we've been saying for the past 2 months. But there's definitely some things that are going to need to be made wise in terms of decision making. I definitely think that you could see one of Jalen Wilson or Drew Timme back on a two-way deal. It's just going to really depend on if Fanbo gets it or not, which I ultimately think he will.
I don't see, like, I like Drew Timme to a degree. I think he's an NBA player, the last guy on the roster type of guy. I do. I think he's improved enough every step of the way where I think he belongs on an NBA roster. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get, but Fanbo and Jalen Wilson does not. Like, I have no use for him. Fanbo is interesting because there's a lot of upside. And where we are today, I would rather just roll the dice on Fanbo and maybe I have something. If not, who cares? Like, I'm cutting Drew Timme for him. Like, Drew Timme's not going to make or break my season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would roll the dice with Fanbo. Like, I like, there's way more. I know what I'm getting in Drew Timme. He can shoot a little bit. He can rebound. I think he's okay. I'm not trying to dump on him. I think he's an NBA quality guy. I don't know what I have in Fanbo, but I think there's a lot more upside in Fanbo than there is in Drew Timme. What are your thoughts on that?
I 100% agree. Fanbo's younger. He's got a different skill set that kind of translates better into today's NBA. There's not many guys at 6'11" that can do what he does, whether it's putting the ball on the floor, spacing the floor from three, being an athletic shot blocker the way that he is. He's got multiple tools to his game that translate into the NBA. It really just comes down to if they can develop him to play at the NBA speed. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him and if he's ever really given an opportunity, which I ultimately am hoping for. But, we'll see. Hopefully they play him a decent amount during the preseason so this way we can get a better understanding of what he looks like. But like I've been saying for the past month and a half, I'm really hoping Fanbo is the guy that gets the last two-way spot. To me, I would probably dump Tyson Etienne for Drew Timme on a two-way spot.
Yeah, I don't understand Tyson Etienne. I don't.
Yeah, to me, EJ Little and Tyson Etienne are two guys that you could definitely drop to bring back Jalen Wilson and Drew Timme on two-way spots. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that. Do I think Jalen Wilson ultimately accepts a two-way spot? No, I do think that he could be utilized somewhere else off the bench. But we'll see. I definitely think Timme should be brought back on a two-way, though. And at this point in time, it seems like Tyrese Martin's earned his spot on the roster this season based on everything we've heard. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and ultimately who gets these last final spots.
It is going to be interesting. I still think that Whitehead, and I would keep Whitehead for sure. So this isn't me speaking of my opinion. It's just me speaking on what I'm hearing is that he's on the chopping block. I'm not saying he's not going to make the team. I'm saying that the preseason might be important for him. Yeah. Do you see a scenario where, like, I know your inkling is he's going to make the team? Are you sure of that, or do you think that his performance is going to dictate that?
In terms of Whitehead,
Whitehead making the roster, yeah.
I think they're going to give him. I think they're going to give him the opportunity. I think ultimately he's a guy that this is a make or break year for him, whether he performs or not. It's going to come down to if he can stay healthy, stay on the floor, and show any form of improvement. Like we've said for a very long time, Whitehead was a guy who was projected lottery before his injury at Duke. So this isn't some garbage player. It's somebody who's dealt with, some severe injuries that has set him back tremendously. But you also saw this with players like Michael Porter Jr., who was projected to be the number 1 overall pick and fell to the 14th pick because of his back injury, had a rough first 2 seasons in the league because of those injuries, and has now developed into one of the best third option players in the league based on his tenure with Denver, in which he won a championship with. So am I closing the door on Dariq just yet? No. But is it going to be this season make or break? Yes.
I wanted to address that because I was going to say, well, Michael Porter Jr. was the number 1 player in high school,
Mhm.
number 2 player in high school, and he had all those things you can say about Drake Whitehead too, right? All
Yeah.
the things I was going to say about Michael Porter Jr. is like, well, why it's different is why it's similar. So, yeah, I don't think I want to see Whitehead. I want to see him a lot. Like, there's somebody in our Instagram chat called "Give Whitehead Minutes" or something like that. Like, yeah, I'm with that guy. I want to see. Let me see Whitehead. He played very small sample size last year, but shot the ball well. I don't know what he offers. And when they took Drake Powell, I'm not against them taking Drake Powell, but to me, when they took Drake Powell, that's the end of Drake Whitehead. I mean,
Yeah.
they fill a lot of the same space, don't they?
I completely agree. To me, Powell and Whitehead are very similar. I think coming out of college, Whitehead was the better offensive player and Drake was the better defensive player. When we got Derek, again, I'm a Duke guy, so I got to watch him a decent amount. Um, this was a guy whose game really resembled a player like Chris Middleton, where he's not going to be your
Yeah.
first option scorer, but he's going to be good enough to where he could potentially be your second option. And when I'm saying second option, I'm more so meaning at the college scene. In the NBA, of course, that hasn't translated and likely won't translate. But could he be, one of your better scorers off the bench long term? Sure. It's just going to really come down to if he can bring back some of that athleticism that he had in college, and if he can just overall stay healthy. He could definitely be a very solid 3-and-D guy, and we saw that last year in the limited games that he played in Brooklyn. This was a guy who was shooting above 39% from three. So could he be a very solid catch and shoot 3-and-D type of guy? 100%. It's just going to come down to if he can stay healthy and if he can show slight improvements to his game that proves that he should be given a second contract in Brooklyn.
The next thing I wanted to move on to is Yegor Damon. The injury, I can't ever say it. I promised Pete I was going to practice saying it. The plantar fascia. I think that's right.
Plantar fasciitis, yes.
He has something slightly different. He has plantar fascia, which is a rip, and a plantar fasciitis is yes. One's a rip and one's inflammation. I don't remember which one is which. It's plantar fasciitis and plantar fascia. It's the same ligament in the foot that's damaged, but one's a rip and one is inflammation.
Gotcha.
I don't know much about the injury. He says he's fine and he can play. I don't want to rush him 1 minute too soon. I'd rather be 5 minutes too late than 1 minute too early with playing him. Is this going to be a reoccurring nagging thing? Is this going to be like Zion and Cam Thomas with the hamstrings? Is this just going to be something that he's going to have to deal with throughout it? Or is this kind of, once it heals, it's fine?
It could be reoccurring. It really depends on the severity of it. If they want him to play this season and tough it out, then it could be reoccurring. If this is something that's showing signs of being reoccurring, I would sit him for the year and just let him get surgery to fix it up. We've seen players in the past, specifically with OKC, who have missed a full season and come back and look, like all-stars.
But don't you think of Ben Simmons? Isn't the first name that comes to your mind Ben Simmons when you?
Not at all, because Ben entered the league healthy. He was dominant. He was the best defender in the league for a while. He was the best playmaker.
But he missed. Yeah, all right, fair enough. He was. He was really good.
Like Ben never entered the league injured. Ben had. Well,
he didn't play his first. He didn't play his first year. He missed his entire.
Yeah,
first year.
That's true. I mean, when he was officially hitting the floor, he was healthy up until that back injury.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to compare it to Yegor just yet. If that's the comparison, then you have to compare that to Chet Holmgren and Nikola Topic and now Thomas Sorber for OKC. Like, there's guys who missed their first year and they do it purposely to sit them out for the remainder of the season. So this way they can actually fully heal up, get a full, NBA level training for a full season, and then they're ready to go. Like Nikola Topic tore his ACL a month before the NBA draft last year. He 100% could have played in January or February of last season, but they decided to sit him out the entire year and let him put on muscle, get better experience with the team, and now he looks dominant based on his summer league showcase. So I think it could be similar with Yegor if it is severe.
And with OKC, I agree with sitting him for the year because, like, what's the point of bringing him back, right? Like, you
already have an NBA championship caliber roster. There's no need to rush anything. Let him get healthy. Let him put on some size. Let him get some experience.
Exactly.
Let him build up the chemistry with the team, and then bring him in next season, which is ultimately what they're doing with Topic right now.
With the Nets, it's different because you don't really have an NBA. Not only do you not have an NBA championship roster, you don't really even have an NBA roster. Like it's
that is very true. That is unfortunately true. But again, you have to start somewhere. When they first got SGA, they weren't expecting, Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams to be, immediate impact players, and they turned out to be. So you got to start your rebuild somewhere. Not everybody gets blessed with an SGA level trade. It's very rare that you see a trade like that happen to where the player becomes an MVP. So we just got to sit back and hope that some of these guys develop. Again, we took 5 players. I'm not expecting 5 players to be on the roster in 4 years from now based on this draft class. If you can hit on 3 of them, that's a great draft. If you can hit on 2 of them, that's the goal.
But that's if you're only looking to hit on 3, why don't you trade up and get 3 guys you really like and whoever the hell falls to
I
you
completely agree. I completely agree. Like I said, if there was a world where I would have passed on Drake Powell and traded that pick plus the pick that we got Saraf with to move up and go get a Carter Bryant. Like I would have 100% done that because if you walked away, I mean, even if you went up to get Bryant and you picked Powell at 19, I would have done that. Like if you really felt that those are your 3 guys that are going to be your key pieces for the future, then by all means do it. But they decided to go with what they went with. I don't disagree with it to an extent if 3 of them can hit. You've seen teams draft multiple times and utilize some of these players in trades down the line, right? Say Danny Wolf looks to like a solid upside player, but isn't really fitting with our system and what we're doing and the players that we have around him, but he's developing into something that could be, used as like a starting big man potentially. Then you can utilize him in a trade package for a star down the line. Like just little examples like that. Even Yegor and Nolan Traore. Ultimately, most likely one of those players is going to be on this team in 4 years because the other one's going to be used in the package for a star. So, you got to just figure out which ones are which ones are your core and go from there.
Here's what I do. And aside from who they picked, here's my issue with it. Is that I feel like you're trying to get lucky. You're trying to get Tom Brady within the 6th round. You're trying to get Brock Purdy with the last pick in the draft. You know what I'm saying? It's like instead of saying I'm good at what I do, I got my eye on this guy. I'm going to trade up and get this guy because I recognize now. I feel like Mark's going to say, well, quantity over quality. If I take 5 guys, I guess 3 of them got to work out because math. I was like. If you're only looking for, like, you're in essence wasting 2 picks. Like, why not just be confident in what you do your homework, and draft good players? I'm being serious. Like, why waste 2 picks?
Ask Sean Marks. The guy's not the brightest in the room. We all know that.
But you got to be confident in yourself, right? Like I'm good at what I do. I'm going to pick 3 times, and I'm going to pick 3 contributing players. It's not. This isn't advanced math.
Yeah, that's how the normal average person would think who is actually half decent at understanding sports. But again, we have Sean Marks as a GM, so you never know what he's trying to do. I mean, quite literally, I don't think there's a more unpredictable person in sports than Sean Marks as of right now. So we'll see. Like I said, at this point, what happened happened. What's done is done. You just have to hope that we hit on 3 of these. I think that would be a massive success if you can hit on 3 of these players. If you hit on 2, that's about what you're hoping for, but 3 would be great.
If you take 5 players and you hit on 2 of them, that's not a good draft, bro. Because you're not going to hit on them like you're not getting Giannis and Joker, right? Like you're not hitting on them like that. If I said if you get Herb Jones in Drake Powell and you get Josh Giddey in Yegor, that's pretty good, right? That's hitting on those picks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you got good players, you got pieces, but that's not franchise changing. We got guys we're building our franchise around. You got guys.
No, I mean, it really comes down to what the result of next year's draft is. Like, again, say the Nets land a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Yegor, if Yegor is your Josh Giddey, that means he's your 3rd option. The guy that you get in the top 3, hopefully this upcoming draft is going to be your 1st or 2nd option. And that puts you in a position now where guys like Powell will be your 4th or 5th option. And that's where he fits into that Herb Jones role. So they're building the foundation of the team, but do they have the set in stone players of the future yet? No. We don't know that for sure until what happens with this upcoming draft class and what happens the following offseason and free agency with the money and flexibility and draft capital that we'll have for future stars. So you're not going to understand the full product yet for probably about another 2.5 to 3 years.
Which is a bit frustrating because I don't know the direction here, right? I'm really not aware of the direction that the Nets are moving in here. I know it's rebuilding, but it's like if you're rebuilding, why are you bringing in Terrence Mann? Why are you bringing in Highsmith? Like, why are we bringing in these guys? Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Can you take this for 1 second? Take this for 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's kind of like, why did the Wizards take Chris Middleton? Why did they take CJ McCollum? Why did last year they take Marcus Smart? Rebuilding teams are always going to pick up money to fill the roster and grab salary dumps to expand their cap flexibility long term. So, when it comes to rebuilding teams, that's the way it works. Realistically, Mann's going to be on the roster most likely this entire season. He doesn't fit contract wise for when the Nets are looking to spend. So you would have to assume the following year Mann is a trade piece. So like I said before, I know that you weren't able to hear it, but
yeah,
rebuilding teams do this. They take on contracts. Washington took on Middleton, they took on McCollum, they took on Marcus Smart, they took on Jonas Valanciunas. Like, that's what you do as a rebuilding team. You add non-impactful veteran players who are either dealing with injuries or have large contracts that can free up cap space for when you're ready to go all in. That's what Brooklyn's doing. And like I said before too, Mann is a guy that, he's on a 3-year deal. That's not what the Nets are looking for. They're looking to go all in 2027's offseason with the cap flexibility that they are looking to have. If that's the case, Mann's going to be a trade piece, not this season, but probably next trade deadline. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize this and how they move forward over the next 2 years with some of the players on the roster. But your goal is 2027. So, having a guy like Terrence Mann who's not going to impact the game of winning isn't a bad thing. You have to take on contracts to get certain things back in return.
We said this last year that having these guys weren't going to impact winning. And then what happened? They did. Schroeder, he's not going to impact winning. He played like an all-star till we traded him. Right?
Well, again, though, Schroeder played on a championship team in LA. Cam Johnson played on a championship team in Phoenix. Dorian Finney-Smith has played on contending teams in Dallas. Like, these are guys who have had experience deep into the playoffs and have helped impact the game of winning as a role player. When you're given an expanded role, you're going to know how to win games down the stretch. So we undervalued that. This year, you have Terrence Mann, who's never really played significant minutes on a contending team where he's been utilized as an option to win games, right? Nick Claxton has never really been an impact player in terms of winning games outside of shot blocking, and that's when he was the 6th option in terms of scoring. What else veterans-wise? We have Michael Porter Jr., who can't make to save his life. You know what I mean? So if he's either putting up 25 a game or he's shooting 5 of 20 per game, there's really not going to be an in-between with him, most likely. Cam Thomas, again, not an impact-winning player. He scores. And if he's not scoring, he's one of the worst plus-minus players in the league. So to me, there's really not a veteran presence this season outside of Zaire who really can make a difference.
I would look at Highsmith. I really would. Like, I know he's not, he's a winning piece. He's on Miami for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I would look to trade him now, like right now. If I could trade him for a second rounder, just get him off my roster before he first of all, like, here's my point. Highsmith is going to get minutes, right? He's going to play a bunch of minutes. He's taking those minutes away from Whitehead. He's taking those minutes away from Saraf, who I want to get to in a minute. He's taking those minutes away from Drake Powell. He's taking minutes away from someone. Why? I understand, like, he's not, some huge impact player, but it's impacting my team to the degree that he's taking away minutes from guys I have to develop.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part. But at the end of the day, most rebuilding teams, you're going to allow these young guys who aren't proven to develop through practice, through the G League, whatever it may be. And at the midway point of the season, that's when you flip some of these vets for higher values than what you got them for. So this way you can help expand on, the flexibility and draft capital that you have. That's really how that works primarily. So again, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's going to be frustrating at the start seeing guys like Haywood Highsmith get minutes over certain players. But that's how a rebuild works. You got to raise the values of the vets that you don't want past this season, and you got to develop the guys who aren't ready to see full-time bench minutes or starting minutes. That's just how it works.
The next piece I want to move on to is Ben Surratt. I talked a little bit with Pete when I did the show earlier in the week about Ben Surratt. This is a pick that we all scratched our head. I was like, really? Michael Porter Jr. said he plays, wise beyond his years. Other people have commented on his basketball IQ. I've heard non-Nets, just basketball podcasts talking about that this could be the hidden gem of the draft. Is there a possibility that we're way off on Ben Surratt? Like Ben Surratt is actually good. I can't say one way or the other. Summer camp wasn't good. Summer league wasn't good. But people keep speaking highly of him, and it's like the most unexpected thing, including Michael Porter Jr., who played on a championship team. Is there something we're not seeing with Ben Surratt? Is he a hidden gem like some people are saying he is?
There's 100% the possibility of that being a reality. I mean, I don't value him at all as of right now based on what I saw from him in Summer League and what I saw from him overseas with the limited film that I had watched on him. But again, Knicks fans were pissed when they took Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, not a single person wanted him, and he turned out to be an all-star player for them. You know what I mean? So a lot of the times when you're pissed off about a pick, it's a 50-50 chance that it actually is a good pick. Right? Josh Allen with the Bills. Bills fans were pissed. They wanted who was it at the time? Josh Rosen? Like there was Bills fans who genuinely wanted Josh Rosen over Josh Allen. So to me, is there a possibility that he turns out to be very good for us? Sure. As of right now, I'm not going to bank on it. So hopefully I'm proven wrong. I say this all the time. I understand that I'm a bit I don't consider it negative. I consider it just realistic. And I am a bit I'm not as optimistic as some people are with many things that the Nets do. And the reason for that is because I want to be proven wrong. I'm prepared for the worst, but I want
to be wrong. I'm a Nets 100%. Fan. Yeah, I want to be. I hope I hope he's the next Luka. I don't see it,
No, me neither.
But go ahead, continue on Surratt. Like, you've watched the tape on him. If he's going to emerge as the gem, what part of his game is it? Like what could he become? What's the upside in him?
I really don't know. Like, I don't know what his ceiling is for him. It's so hard. A lot of people want to say Manu Ginobili, but Manu also knew how to shoot the basketball, and I haven't seen Ben Surratt make
Ginobili shot the ball really well.
Yeah, so it's very tough to kind of do that comp because of the fact that he hasn't really been good in the limited time that we've seen him in terms of shooting the basketball. I mean, even his free throws looked horrible in Summer League. So to me, I can't really put a pinpoint on what I think he's going to be because I haven't seen enough success out of him to really give him a comparison. So I don't know. I can't give an answer to it.
As far as the other two rookies involved, Wolf and Trae, what do you expect from them? What do you want to see them out of them in the preseason?
I want to see Wolf be a bit more physical in terms of as a defender, and I just want to see him get opportunities to put the ball on the floor and create his own shot. And as for Traore, I just want to see him space the floor, or at least take a pull-up mid-range. Like I said during Summer League, the one thing that pissed me off about Traore is you can tell he's got a lightning quick first step, and he's able to get past defenders probably at an 80% clip. But there was times where he was creating about 2 to 4 feet of space when he blew by a defender, and there was about a 1 to 3 foot space between him and the guy that was waiting in the paint down low. That's when you need to learn to take a mid-range shot. When you have that much shot creation based off of your first step, you have to realize that and say, okay, I can either take a mid-range shot or I can take a contested layup. To me, he's got to learn how to develop that mid-range shot. And same thing for the three ball. At his size, at his position in today's NBA, you have to be able to space the floor as a guard. So those are going to be the two things primarily that I'm looking at. He looked very solid as a perimeter defender. He looked very solid as a playmaker, and he looked very good as a quick first step drive to the basket type of guy. So I just want to see him expand the offensive game a little bit more and space the floor.
I'm totally prepared for the fact that Danny Wolf sucks and Nolan Trey is really good. I've prepared myself for that. Like Trey might not be really good this year, but he's a blur out there, man. He is fast. If he could just bring the ball with him, and finish. Like in the summer league, he looked fantastic, except he couldn't finish. Like that'll come. Yeah. Like that'll come in time.
Yeah, that comes with putting on weight. But again, that's that thing where it's like you got to learn to take a floater like Trae Young does, or you have to learn to take a pull-up mid-range like SGA does. You know, like there's certain ways to utilize your speed to your advantage. It doesn't have to just be blow by the first defender and take a contested layup every time. You got to expand that. There's certain ways, because if you develop that mid-range pull-up after passing that first defender, that's going to make the big in the paint actually move up. Like they're going to try and defend you, and you can blow by them for the easy layup after that. But when teams know that you're going to just drive to the lane after beating your first defender, they're just going to have that big man sit down low. And if you just put your hands up as a 7-footer against, 6'3", 6'4" Nolan Traore, who's 180 pounds, you're going to miss a lot of those. So if he can kind of develop that mid-range pull-up and at least give me like 33, 34% from three his first year, then that's something I can at least work around. Like I said, he reminds me a lot of Andrew Nembhard. Nembhard isn't the best efficient three-point scorer, but he's got a lightning first quick step. He's a great perimeter defender. He's a great secondary ball handler behind Halliburton. And he's developed a mid-range shot really well in this league. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to see out of Traore.
And then as far as Wolf, I'm just prepared for him to suck. I'm prepared for him to be soft to Charmin. I'm prepared for him to really not be great. I'm just prepared for him not to really be good at anything and then be soft on top of it. Like that's kind of like my inkling on him. It's like I hope I'm wrong. I don't see it. Like I don't. He's a power forward center that can handle the ball. And I don't know. It looks so bad. Like I'm prepared to say that Drew Timme is going to be a better NBA player than Wolf.
I mean, I don't think it's that far. Like I think he's going to be solid. It's going to really depend on the opportunity. And if you have Claxton and Sharp and Clowney here long term, then he's really not going to get the opportunities to develop to his fullest. So I mean, yeah, there's a chance that he doesn't turn out well, but got to hope that he has at least something in him.
Shout out to Nick Shine, host of the Nick Shine Show on YouTube. I got any Net fans there, make sure to subscribe to Nick Shine's channel. We could talk about the Jets for another week or two until their season is completely irrelevant. But check out my boy Nick Shine on YouTube, the Nick Shine Show. Shout out Nick. I'm really a fan of all of the worst teams, Dylan. The Mets embarrassed themselves like I've never seen before. The Nets are the worst roster in basketball. One of the worst rosters I've ever seen, and the Jets are 0-4, going on 0-5. Things don't really go well for me as a sports fan at all.
I mean, sports has sucked for me since 2009, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm a Nets fan. Steelers and Yankees last won their last championships in 2009, both of them the same year. I haven't experienced shit, so I'm in the same boat.
Since 2006, that's almost 20 years. I've seen one division title. Think about that. The Jets have none, the Nets have none, and the Jets have one. The Jets have none, the Nets have none, and the Mets have one in 2015. That's it. One division title in 20 years. Think about that. That is, Dylan, that is extraordinary. That is amazing.
No, that sucks. That's fucking horrible.
The Jets won in the AFL NFL merged in 1970. This is a true stat. How many division titles do you think the Jets have since 1970? Since the AFL NFL merged?
Probably two.
1998 and 2002. That's it. Two.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to suck. There's no other way to put it. It's the fucking Jets. They are the most dysfunctional NFL franchise next to the Cleveland Browns. So
my daughter, who's 10, said, "Daddy, why did you pick the Jets? You picked the wrong team." I picked them when I was 5. That's it. Like that's what I'm going with. I'm a loyal person. I'm a Jets fan. Like that's that. That is the end of the discussion. Did I pick the wrong team? Clearly, but you know what? I'm sticking with it.
Just got to wrap it out.
I wanted to move on to our boy Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas, reduced fat, fit Cam Thomas. Did you see Cam? He's looking good.
I
What
have,
do you
yeah.
make of that?
He looks like he's dropped a little bit of weight, leaned out the muscle a little bit. Um, he's looked quicker in some of the limited film that I've seen out of him in training camp so far. So that's good to see. I mean, you want to see somebody healthy and actually show their true ability, but it's still Cam Thomas. I'm not gonna think that he's the next coming of Kobe and lead us to a championship and be the first option on a championship team. I gotta see some stuff on an NBA court against NBA competition when he's out there for 32 minutes a night.
And what do you expect from him? I mean, just more of the same? Do you expect anything different? Do you just expect, bulk shooting, 25 points a game? I mean, ultimately, what do you expect from him?
Yeah, I mean, I put out some personal stat predictions. I think he's going to be like a 25.5 point per game guy. Maybe, four, like 3.9 to 4.3 rebounds per game, maybe 4.1 to 4.6 assists per game. So if he can get to that range, that's a guy that you should pay. Then I wouldn't disagree with it. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he does this year. If the Nets land a pick that guarantees them Darren Peterson, you let Cam Thomas walk. It doesn't matter. Cam Thomas is an undersized shooting guard. At the end of the day, it's almost impossible to build a team around that. Donovan Mitchell's an exception. That is a true exception, and they couldn't do it with him in Utah. They got Evan Mobley, they got Jared Allen. They were able to build that around Mitchell and some of the deficiencies that he had in his game. So it's very unlikely.
There are other exceptions. Jalen Brunson being an exception. It's been done before.
Yeah, but Brunson's a point guard though. Like we're talking about a 6'3" shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
You know what I mean? Like it's a very different situation when you're looking at shooting guards that are that small. If Thomas had the ability to put up 28 a game like Brunson does and 7 assists per game like Brunson does, and he was an undersized one, then I would understand it, and there's maybe a more likely opportunity to build a team around that. But Thomas being a 6'3", almost 6'2" shooting guard, whose primary style of play is through scoring with minimal playmaking ability, it's a lot harder to build a team around that. So, if the scenario comes up to where you're looking at Darren Peterson or Cam Thomas, and Cam Thomas just put up an all-star season, but you have the opportunity to draft Darren Peterson, I'm letting Cam Thomas walk and I'm drafting Darren Peterson. He's a 6'6" shooting guard, a true shooting guard with 3-level scoring ability and a high immense IQ to his game and a high-intensity defender. Yeah, I'm taking Darren Peterson out of college more than I'm taking Cam Thomas after a borderline all-star season in year 5, 100%.
No, I love Cam Thomas. I value Cam Thomas more than most people. I love his style of play. I think I value it way more than you do, for instance, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Cam Thomas does not get a say whether or not we draft Darren Peterson. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, Cam. I love you, but if we get Darren Peterson, bye-bye. Like,
oh yeah,
have a good night.
I'll pack your bag for you,
Yeah.
and I'll do it respectfully too. It's not like one of those situations where it's like Joe Harris back in the day, where I was like, I'll pack your bags and throw you in a fucking vehicle myself. No, I will pack your bags. I'll even fold your clothes. But if it's for Darren Peterson, yeah, I'll just see the door, dude. It's over.
To me, that's the only way out of hell right now, right? Darren Peterson, AJ DeBanter. You'll say Cam Boozer too. Fine. You keep comping Cam to Paulo. If that's true, then sure. Yeah. Okay, then that's a way out of hell too. So there's 3 ways out of hell. Drafting 1, 2, or 3 in this draft. 1 and 2 for certain. You compare Cam to Paulo, so I'll take your word for it. So there's 3 ways out of hell. Draft 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Right? I mean, there's no other way out of hell for us.
I was going to say, I mean, there's one other guy who's starting to emerge. I'm not sure if you saw my tweet, but 247 Sports is one of the 3 major high school and college recruiting pages for basketball and football. 247 Sports put Nate Amen as the #1 prospect in basketball.
I've been saying that. That's ridiculous, but
that's
I was
scary
saying that's my guy.
And that's scary to see because we haven't seen a lot of footage of Nate Amen since getting on campus at Tennessee. If he's looking that impressive to where he's been able to jump AJ DeBanter, Boozer, and Peterson, that's a 4-headed monster that you're looking at in that top 4 that can really shake up the league. So I'm personally not as high on Amen as some others are. I think he could be a really good 2B option, like a Jaylen Brown or a Franz Wagner like impact player. But if there's the opportunity where we see him explode at Tennessee and and he puts on some size and he showcases a true ability to be a number one, then you're looking at 4 major options that the Nets could look at in that top 4.
He was I had 2 guys that were 1 A plus, and then I had 2 guys that were like A's, and that was Nate and Cam. That was, so I had 2 guys, franchise changing, can't miss all-stars, and then I had 2 guys I thought were very good. I put Nate in that same class as Boozer.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're so early on in this, and so many people are unlikely to know the names of these guys. But my 3 guys that I think are going to be the biggest sleepers in this draft, even though I still think all 3 will go lottery, is Tanda Yasafwa, Caleb Wilson, and Darius Acuff. I'll even throw Ko Pate in there. I think those 4 guys are the biggest sleepers in this draft. They have an immense amount of upside to their game. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these guys climb the rankings, fall a little bit. To me, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm looking at another trade up this year. Like, you need to find a way to land top 4 and then go out there and grab another top 20 pick. I think that completes your rebuild. I
don't know what you have to get that pick. I mean, what do you don't have a pick next year, so you can't package in next year's
pick.
We
have. You have 3 2027 picks as of right now.
2027 picks, yeah.
So it's like you can package up 2 of those. There's no need to draft 3 guys the following year. You already have literally half your roster drafted if you select 2 guys this year. You'll have 7 players drafted in the last 2 years. That's half a roster. You don't need all these picks coming up. So to me, if there's a world where you can move up and you can go, say you get a Darren Peterson, and there's a world that you can trade up and go get a Caleb Wilson or a Jaden Quinnance or, a Ko Pate, whatever it is, do it. Like, there's so much upside with players in this draft this year. You got to go and get these guys.
It really, to me, it's like simple. It's like either we get one of those guys, or we're going to suck for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't really see another, I don't see another direction here. Like, I
don't think there's a possibility as of right now. And again, you know me, I'm not a very optimistic person, but I don't physically see an avenue where this team doesn't see success within the next 4 years. Simply because, one, even if you suck at drafting the next 2 years, you have the maximum amount of cap space going into 2027. You have a market that a lot of players want to be a part of. You have a coach who is a definitive culture builder and a guy who can really impact any player that's on his team. And you also have other teams' picks. Like, you have the ability to still keep getting lottery picks from the Knicks. You have the ability to continue getting lottery picks from Denver. You have the cap space and the draft capital to trade for a secondary star. I don't see an avenue within the next 4 years where the Nets are on a top 5 seed in the East based on the amount of ammo, cap flexibility, and draft capital that they have. It's just, to me, it's almost impossible. Like, you really have to fuck up your picks and the people that you pay in these off seasons to mess this up, which I'm not going to, say Sean Marks doesn't have the ability to do, because we've seen time and time again him screw up, but it's going to be really difficult to mess this up. It's a golden opportunity.
And he's going to, which is why I said we had to fire him before we drafted last year, and we didn't. And then we went with taking 5 guys, which is, I mean, it's extraordinary. It's going to be what it's going to be. If you guys really want to lose, let's get Westbrook in here. That'll guarantee we lose. We can get Westbrook and Boogie Cousins, because he's a complete loser. Let's get Boogie Cousins in here. But we'll definitely lose if we get Boogie Cousins. What do you think Boogie Cousins is doing nowadays?
Wasn't he playing in Puerto Rico and almost beat the shit out of a fan?
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure that was the last clip I ever saw of him a couple of months ago, but who knows? I mean, realistically, his career just got depleted by the Achilles injury.
He's also a loser. Like, no matter where he went, that team was going to lose. It's just, he's like a dark cloud that just makes everything rainy and crappy. Shout out Boogie Cousins. So, here's what how do I phrase this? What rotations, what do you want to see? What do you expect? What do you hope to see out of this preseason as far as the rookies concerned? I want to see all 3 of the ball handlers play together. I get we're not seeing Drake. I don't know how much of Jaeger, but I would like to see at some point all 3 ball handlers. I'd like to see Jaeger, Troy, and Saraf on the court together. Your thoughts on that? What do you want to see in the preseason? Like, what do you want to try out?
I mean, I don't want to see I don't want to see a rotation that consists of all three of those guards in the same lineup. I think that's
You
just
drafted them all
awful.
together. Yeah.
I think you you know, I think that you should just mix up some lineups, Yegor and Traore together. Traore as the lead guard and Saraf as the shooting guard, vice versa. Saraf at the point guard, Traore at the shooting guard. But you shouldn't see all three on the court at the same time.
I want to see it. I want to see what it looks like. Like, you're gonna have to. What if those are the three guys you hit on, right? Like, what if it's those three? You're gonna not play them together?
Yegor at the 1, Traore at the 2, Saraf as your 6-man, your lead guard off the bench. I mean, TJ McConnell's made a career out of being a backup point guard. You know, so it's like it doesn't hurt to have it, but you definitely don't want to be put in a position to, you know, be forced into having to play these three guys all at the same time. I just don't think I don't see an avenue where that works for anybody.
The good news is Saraf sucks, so he's not going to be one of the three guys that hit. But putting that to the side, to me, like, Drake Powell is the safest bet. I think if anyone is going to be a productive NBA player, it's going to be Drake Powell. Like, I can't see him not being good. What's his ceiling? I don't know what his ceiling is. But, like, I don't think his floor is low. Like, I can't see that guy sucking. He's super athletic. He can defend and he can shoot. He's got a role in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, you know, with our luck, 4 of these guys will tear their ACLs within 60 games, and then they'll, you know, but that's just the luck of the Nets, though. So hopefully not. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully 2 or 3 of these guys pan out. You know, I think Yegor and Drake Powell are guys that will definitely pan out for us. It's really just going to come down to if it's going to be Traore or Saraf.
I remember when the Nets drafted Ed O'Bannon, he fell to like 8 or something like that. And the Nets drafted him, and he had just won the national championship at UCLA, Wooden Player of the Year, like crazy, like 25 points a game at UCLA on the best team in the country, right? And the Nets drafted him. Oh, this guy, I don't care if he can't defend anybody. I don't care if he can't guard his own shadow. This guy is buckets. Like, this is 20 points a game plus right away. He was the worst player I'd ever seen in my life. I still can't believe to this day that Ed O'Bannon, I hope LBL's in the chat. Shout out LBL. He can still remember Ed O'Bannon. They drafted like 96, I want to say. The worst player I'd ever seen play in the NBA. That's not an exaggeration. Ed O'Bannon is the worst player that's ever played in the NBA. And he was an all-time great college player, like legendary all-time great college player, 2-time player of the year, national championship, Final Four MVP. And he was the worst player I'd ever seen in college and in the NBA. It's like, and I was like, well, that guy can't miss. So now I just put that jinx on Drake Powell. Drake Powell, if Drake Powell is the worst player ever, if he's Ed O'Bannon 2.0, you guys can blame that on me. Do you even remember the name Ed O'Bannon?
Not at all.
Okay. He's the guy that got the college players paid. He sued the NCAA for using his likeness and not paying him. He was the first round draft pick. I want to say it was 96. The Nets drafted him after winning the national championship at UCLA, and he was one of the greatest college basketball players to ever live. And I'm not joking. The worst NBA player to ever live. He's the worst player to ever play at 95. They beat Hawkins 95. BC is saying the worst NBA player ever, and I stand on that. I will die on that hill. He's the worst NBA player ever. No, Mikal is not the worst. Mikal is not the worst NBA player ever. Ed O'Bannon is. Just go Google his name when you get a chance. Google his name. So, as far as rotation, what do you want to see? Who do you want to see develop? What would be encouraging for you this preseason? What would you walk away and say? Okay, it's just a preseason, but I feel good about it because X, Y, and Z happened.
Yeah, I definitely think, again, Traore, some form of floor spacing, whether it's a mid-range pull-up or a catch-and-shoot 3. I can't talk now on Yegor because he's likely out for the entire preseason. For Powell, I want to see the explosiveness and the defensive ability that he brings. For Saraf, I mean, just give me anything better than what happened in Summer League. Show me that you actually don't suck at shooting the basketball. Whether that's from free throw, mid-range 3, whatever it is, show me something. I want to see what Cam Thomas looks like as a playmaker, as a guy who can play through the pick and roll. I want to see if Claxton can develop some form of offensive ability now that, his back injury is healed. Just little things. I'm not expecting anything crazy. Again, I'm not hoping for wins this season. I want the best pick possible. So if that means tanking and being the worst team in basketball to guarantee your top 5 pick, then do it. But this is the last year that I'm going to be hoping for losses, because at this point, you're putting your future in the hands of other teams' picks, and I can live with that. So this is the last year that I'm rooting for losses.
I'm not really. Yeah, I guess I'm just rooting to play the rookies as many minutes as possible. And when you do that, you're going to lose games. Like, there's just no ands, ifs, or buts. It's like you're going to. If you play these guys, you're going to lose. That is the end of the discussion, right? These aren't even like 22-year-olds that came in the league like 20. These are kids. They're not. They don't even know how to play basketball. I'm old enough to remember, and LBL can assist me on this. It used to be a drawback if you were a freshman, right? It'd be like, he doesn't know how to play basketball. It's like trying to teach someone how to use toilet paper. I don't want him. I want someone who's played at least 3 years in college.
Yeah.
And now it's like, he played 3 years in college. What the hell is wrong with him? Right? Like, it just changed a lot. And now you're developing these kids from basically the cradle. I get it, but what I'm saying is, if you're playing a bunch of 19-year-olds, you can't win games. It doesn't work that way. They can't win games in college. They're too young to win games in college. They're not winning games in the NBA. So I'm not rooting for losses. I'm just rooting that, in the last 5 minutes of a close game, that you go with all your rookies and you let the chips fall where they may. And we all know how they're going to fall. So I don't consider this a tanking season. I consider it a rebuilding season. Last year was a tanking season. This is just a rebuild, and you're gonna have growing pains with it. It's just, you're starting a bunch of kids. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's how rebuilding works. Realistically, if you want the best case scenario to develop your players with the ability to get the highest pick possible, you play your rookies, and that's how it is. There's no exceptions to these things. Like, rookies are always going to translate to losses. That's how it works. And when you have 5 of them, and if you're playing them each 15 plus minutes a night, and 1 or 2 of them are starting midway through the season, you're going to lose games. So hopefully that's the route that they take. They get these guys to develop as quick as possible, and hopefully you're looking at a top 4 pick next year.
So I do want to get this. I thought Sharaf was guaranteed going to the G League, and I keep calling him Whitehead. Drake Powell was guaranteed going on the roster. And now I'm kind of flipping on that. Well, what are your thoughts on that? What rookies do you think would you predict are in Long Island to start the season?
I think it's just Danny Wolf as of right now. I mean, I think Sharaf's going to split minutes in the G League, but I definitely think Wolf is the guy that's going to be in the G League.
I tend to agree. I think Wolf is definitely in the G League. And I guess Sean Marks said that he's not making any more moves, really. He's not looking to fill the cap space. So I guess this is what we're going with. Is that your take on it too? Like, what we have today is what we're starting the season with?
Yeah. I think that this is the roster as constructed. Do I think it's smart? No. Do I think we should have probably traded away Claxton now or moved off of, Haywood Highsmith and Zaire Williams for a solid return? Yeah, but it doesn't look like that's the route that they're taking.
I still don't, for the life of me, don't understand why we didn't just call Boston and say, I have Nick Claxton. You could use Nick Claxton. You have Anthony Simons, who you don't need, who you don't want to pay. I will take Anthony Simons. Do we have a deal?
Just give me a first-round pick, and I would do it.
Do it out the pick. What is the Celtics pick going to be? You want to throw in a pick here.
I mean, listen, if it's a roster that consists of Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Nick Claxton, yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be a top 20
You're not getting your pick this year. You might get a future pick.
Oh, no, I would demand this year's pick, or you don't get
it. They're not doing that. They're not giving you.
You give me this year's pick unprotected, and I'll give you, the Philly 2028 pick that we have that's top 8 protected, but I'm adding a lottery protection to it.
I think Boston's going to draft AJ DeBanster this year, so I don't think they're trading that pick.
Probably, knowing their luck. No, they'll get Peterson, and then they'll just form the greatest trio of all time.
I mean, likely. I mean, That's what I'm saying. It's like we can sit here and try to root for losses. At the end of the day, the NBA, you're right. If we have the worst record in the NBA, and from a talent perspective, we should have the worst record in the NBA by far. But like, if you're content with just drafting fifth, okay, get the worst record in the NBA. I don't know if getting the worst record in the NBA and being dreadful is going to get you number one. And for me, my goal is simple. I want 1, 2, or 3. Anything other than that, I feel it's a loss. Like, I sat through hell last year watching Jalen Wilson play more minutes on my team than anybody else. Jalen Wilson, who's not even an NBA player, played more minutes than anybody else on the Brooklyn Nets last year. I had to sit there and watch that to end up with this draft. It's like, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like almost quitting being a Jets fan because there's never any fun involved. I want to sit through another season like this and then draft a bunch of dudes again next year. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm saying you got to get a top 5 pick.
I need 1 or 2 or 3.
The only way to guarantee a top 5 pick is to be the worst team in basketball. Give yourself the best odds and opportunity to do it.
But you can't guarantee that.
You can't guarantee it, but you're guaranteeing a top 5 pick. So
but you can't guarantee having the worst record in the NBA. I mean, there's other teams. What if some team gets injury struck? Like, what if I don't know. What if give me a bad team? Toronto. What if everybody on Toronto gets hurt the first week of the season? And now they're like, oh, we're just going to lose every game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't even know if Toronto owns their own pick this year because of the Brandon Ingram trade.
You're right. They don't.
I don't know if they do. They may, but I don't know if they do.
But like, what if some team has, what if Zion Williamson decides he's not going to play this year because he doesn't want to because he's Zion?
Then the Pacers are going to get a top tier pick.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't guarantee the worst record in the NBA. I mean, it'd be nice and to start the season.
Or is it the Pacers or the Hawks that got that pick?
The Hawks.
Yeah.
The unprotected first.
Yeah, I was going to say, welcome to Atlanta, AJ DeBansto. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that may put him there. I still think he goes to Boston.
Who knows? All I know is that if you are the worst team in basketball, you are given a 4 out of 5 chance to draft one of the 4 best players. And these top 4 guys are legit. So if somehow you're the worst team in basketball and you get the 5th pick at that point, just sell the franchise and quit the NBA because you're never going to be good. You have a 4 out of 5 chance right now to land a really good prospect. If you get fucked that badly, just quit. Give it up. Hang it up.
What were the odds last year that this past draft that San Antonio was going to draft 2 and Dallas was going to draft 1? What was the odds of that?
Probably a negative 0.10.
It was 0.2%, 0.2%. So look, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in statistical anomalies. It's rigged. Like, that's just how I feel.
Oh yeah,
like, you're never going to convince me otherwise. Like, I don't believe in, I don't like. There's an explanation for everything. There's no statistical anomalies. They don't exist.
No, not at all. The draft's completely rigged.
And why can't we just say that? The NBA is allowed to rig it. It's their draft. They can do whatever the hell they want. Like, this little dog and pony charades that we do, ridiculous nonsense. Like this is really happening. They don't even pretend that it's in real time anymore. They say we did it in the back here, but now we're just releasing the numbers. It's like, this is the most fugazi thing I'd ever seen in my life. Like, no one would run a lottery like this if you wanted legitimate results. Like, just say, here are the teams that didn't make the playoffs. I'm going to put them in the order of my choosing. Okay, cool. Like, just say the truth.
Nope.
All right. That's kind of it for me. I think we touched on that. Oh, Michael Porter Jr., 27-year-old Michael Porter Jr., talking about retirement 1 year at a time. I like Steph Curry, like LeBron James. Okay. That was interesting. He's definitely won the offseason. That's for sure. What are your thoughts on Michael Porter Jr. talking about retirement?
I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. I think he's just saying, that I'm going to listen to my body and I'm not going to overdo myself. The dude went through, 3 back surgeries, career almost ended. I don't think it's as deep as people are trying to make it be, but he's also in the New York media. So welcome to stupidity and welcome to people searching for clicks. You
He's
know,
also had
Uh,
a very interesting offseason to say that. This thing with him in New York City, boy, he's ain't gonna work out. It don't work out, man. Someone just needs to get him like a babysitter at
New
all
York
times.
doesn't work for anybody, and the funny part is that the people who do work in New York are usually the ones who suck and don't make an impact on the game of winning. Oh, everybody in some of these comments that I was getting was talking about, oh, we have to draft based on character. Fuck your character. If you
Yeah,
got
no, I'm
five
with that.
felonies,
That's
if you got five
nonsensical.
felonies and you put up 28 a game and you got 3 kids with 4 different women, I don't give a shit. I don't care.
3 kids with 4 women. How'd you pull that off?
That's my point. I don't give a shit what your background is and what stupidity you bring. If you are healthy and you win games, get them here. I don't care about character. I'm so sick and tired of people trying to play the PR game because it's New York media. Fuck the media.
I said
Just
this
go
too.
out
I
there
said
and
this
play the game.
when Aaron Hernandez was on trial. I was like, boy, if he beats these charges, I'd like to bring him into the Jets.
As long as you don't murder or rape somebody, like whatever.
Well, he beat. I'm just, if he beat the charges, if he was acquitted on the charges, I'd said let's bring.
If he was found not guilty, then sure, that's different.
Yeah, let's bring.
But like
let's
the
bring him in.
dude did it. You know what I mean? Like I can't. The guy did it twice. Like you can't. If you couldn't beat it once, you're not beating it the second time. So, yeah, no. I mean, just don't do something unconsensual and don't kill somebody. That's all I'm asking for you.
Yeah, don't do anything that's gonna make you not play. Right?
Yeah.
If you can play, I can deal with whatever you did. Like it's whatever. Do that on your own time.
No.
That's all. Yeah. Whatever you do it on your own time. Don't let it affect what we're doing here.
Pretty much.
All right. I mean, that's really all I got. You got anything you want to close us out with, Dylan?
No, it was good to be back. I'm excited to watch tomorrow. It's going to be a trifecta of sports for me. So I got the Yankees at 4, the Nets at 8, and UFC at 10. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
How do we watch it? It's 8. It's on. Yes. How do we watch this game?
Absolutely no clue.
Okay.
Absolutely zero idea. I'm going to wing it. I'm hoping TV app has it. Oh, I shouldn't have said that out loud because they'll ban them next. Rip Stream East. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and figure out a way to watch it. I'm not doing the NBA app until FanDuel drops their 3-month free trial. So
do me a favor. The app that you use, the link that you use, text it to me.
I got you. Yeah,
Remind
me. Remind me.
I will. I'm forgetting. And I've been going out watching. I was going to this bar to watch the Jet games, and then this week the Jets play the Cowboys, so it's on regular TV. And I'm just about done with the Jets anyway. I can't. Yeah. I can't watch any more Jet football. It is really starting to affect me. After watching, I was in a bad mood every day for 2 months because of the Mets. Now the Jets, and the next season doesn't even count. We're already talking about mock drafts. The Nets season's over with before it started. The Jets season's already over. The Mets had the worst collapse ever. It's like how am I supposed to be in a good mood day to day, Dylan?
You're not. I mean, honestly, the fact that you haven't ended it is a victory in itself. So I congratulate you and tip my cap off to you for that. Because that is the level of sports fandom that'll make you jump off a bridge. So I give you props.
And Arch Manning sucks too. On top of all of that, like if you
Arch Manning
any
sucks.
more in this pile, Arch Manning blows. Yeah, okay, great.
What's the one kid's name that was supposed to play somewhere but then transferred to UCLA? He was another top 3 quarterback in this draft.
Oh, I liked him too, Nico Limalava.
Yeah.
That guy
too. Sucks ass too. Yeah. It's literally like rewatching the Spencer Rattler and DJ Ukulele level of hype from them. Like DJ Ukulele sucks, Spencer Rattler's mid. That's what we're seeing from Arch Manning and Nico. So sucks to suck, but that's what's happening.
All right, y'all. It was a pleasure. Dylan, when do you want to come back?
Let's shoot for either Sunday night to recap it, or we'll figure out something for Wednesday or Thursday.
All right. Let's try to shoot for Sunday night if we can.
Yeah, if we can. I'll keep you updated with what's going on, but we'll see.
All right. Sounds good, y'all. It is October 3rd, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.
Later.